So a lot of those plot types that we saw in that first series, I'll give you the. I think you've already got the. All of those are available in matplotlib.org, right? But there's also, in addition to just the types, there's a lot of interesting examples, and they have this huge gallery. So this script is going to provide some additional examples taken from the gallery. And the gallery examples help us play with other elements, including labeling, stacking bar charts, changing direction, making it horizontal versus vertical, plotting two charts within the same plot, adding gradients to your bar charts, and there's so much more. There are close to 500 including, and this is, I was looking at some of this stuff, it's pretty crazy, animations and 3D plotting. Now, that's cool, but you still have to have a use case for it. You can't just sit there and go, I'm going to do a 3D plot. That's going to be so cool. If the cool is taken away from the decision maker's understanding of the data, then it's just bells and whistles. For all of these gallery items, in each case, the script is provided. You just need to add your data. All right, to find these examples, go to, I'm just going to copy, I got it right here. Copy that, put it in here. That's the website. So we're going to take a look at a few of these examples. And the first one I thought we'd take a look at is just labeling. And we'll label a bar chart. Okay? Simple stuff. Labeling a bar chart. Okay, so again, we got to start, we got to make sure we import all the things we need. So import matplotlib.py plot as plt. Also import numpy. So that's what we've been using to create our data as np. And now let's make the data. All right, and let's get these imported, just so I don't forget. Now let's make the data. All right, so we're going to first of all start with a just assigning capital N. We're going to assign that to be equal to 5. Then we're going to put in what we'll call means, and those are going to be equal to 20, 35, 30, 35, and minus 27. And we're going to put in women means, and that's equal to 25, 32, 34, 20, and minus 25. All right. So just looking at our variable view, let's read these in. So we're going to have n equal to 5. So that's just one integer. We're going to have men means. So now this is called a tuple. Basically, it's just it's 5 numbers within. It's not identified as anything other than it's just 5 numbers. So I didn't put it in a series or anything like that. That's why it's in parentheses. So we're creating these tuples. We'll do the same thing with women's means, creating another tuple, and then we're going to create 2 more tuples. Men standard deviation is going to equal 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and women standard deviation is equal to 3, 5, 2, 3, 3. Okay, and again, 2 more tuples, just grouping of items. All right. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to create a new variable, right? And this is where we're going to have the locations of the different groups. All right, so we're going to have n is the 5 different groups. You can see we have 5 different means and standard deviations. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable called ind, and we're going to use np a range and a range of for 5. So this should give me 1. This should give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when I look at ind. So let's take a look. All right, ind 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not 1. Remember, everything starts with 0. All right, and that's an array of integers. All right, and so this is just so we know what this is. The x locations for the groups. All right, and you can make those comments right next to the line, just like I did here. All right, next line, we want to set width is equal to 0.35. So I'm just creating a new variable called width, and I'm setting it to equal that. There's my width. It's a floating variable, 0.3035. And this is going to be the width of the bars. You know, and you can also be the length of x sequence. All right, so that's just creating some data. All right, now let's create the making the stacked bar plot with error bars. Fancy. Okay. All right, let's get some room here. Beautiful. Okay. So, fig, right? AX equals PLT dot subplots. Right? And when this subplots, when you put nothing in here, it just means that there's just one subplot, right? We'll find out later on. You can put in 2 subplots. You can put in 4 subplots in a matrix like 2 by 2. Lots of different things you can do. But right, what this just basically means is nothing else is going on. Just give me your standard subplot. All right. Then we want to create new variables, P1 and P2. P1 is AX bar, and that is for my 5 locations for ind. We want men means width. The width is established. YERR, right, is going to equal men std, and then we're going to put in a label. Label equals men. I'll make that capital M. All right. And then I'm going to create P2, which is also going to be a bar chart. AX dot bar, IND. Women means width, only one comma, YERR equals women, STD, label equals women. Okay, so those are two bar charts we're making, right? Now, again, I'm not going to run these individually because I want to ultimately run all of this as a cell. Run it all at the same time. Okay. AX dot AXH line is 0, color equals gray, and line width equals 0.8. AX dot set Y label scores. AX dot set title is scores by group and gender. Okay. AX dot set X tick labels. We want this to be G1, G2 for group, G3, G4, oops, I forgot to put that in quotes, G4, and G5, okay. And then I also want to put in a legend, AX legend. All right, so we'll see what that all does. Now the next thing we want to do is I want to put a label with the label type center instead of the default edge. All right, so I'll get some more room here. All right, so we're going to go AX dot bar label P1 label type equals center. Okay, AX bar label for P2 label type equals center. All right, so that's just kind of change that. And then we're also going to put in AX dot bar label, and that should just be P2. And this should be P2. Okay, bar label P2, and then PLT dot show. All right, I think I got that right. P2 is not identified. Got it. Okay. So we've got all of our data created, so I'm going to run this cell. No, did not like that. P2. Oh, that's why, because I don't have P2 here. Ooh. All right, let's do that again, right? Don't have it right, but let's do it again. Run the cell. All right, so that is really messy. I think this shouldn't be there. Let's try it without it. No, did not. I don't like that either. Try it one more time. not loving the, not really sure why those labels are where they are. Let me make sure I've got, so, and I'm not sure where G1 is either. G1, G2, so I'm gonna do a little bit of research. I'll get right back on this. All right, I finally figured out what I did wrong. So when I was typing in women's means, right, these things are overlapping. I needed to, here, I also needed to put in what are the bottom means. So I missed an entire thing here. I'm trying to do a stack bar chart. These are on top of each other. Bottom is equal to men means. Okay, that's what I missed. Right, so if you don't have that, because what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at both of these things overlapping. All right, so let's try this again. I think we'll get something that's not as messy. There we go. That makes more sense. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got the means, and then what this is doing here, this AX bar label, is giving me what is the top number up here, or bottom number here, right? Given the standard deviations, right? So it's giving me the means, it's giving me what that top label would be, all right? Or what the combination, I should say, of the two is. So this is 27 and 25, that's a minus 52. Combine these are 55, 65, 67, etc. All right, so what that's doing is it's adding both of those together. It's also giving me a stack. All right, it didn't come up with the legend, and that is somewhat problematic. I think I may have forgot to put the parentheses around it. So let's see if I can do this again and get the legend to come up. There we go. Now we have the legend. So now we know that the blue is the men and the orange is the women. All right. So a lot of different things to put in here. Granted, all it is, I just copied and pasted this code. If you wanted to do some stack comparisons, you got to make sure that you include which items go on the bottom. All right. So that's your stacked bar chart.